Is it me, or does anybody else really enjoy the worst of beauty better than the best? It's like a guilty pleasure or something. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Kimmie. This is my attic, and we are a week outside of 2022. Can you guys believe it? I know I can't. I cannot believe it, but in a way I'm happy. I always get kind of like, I'm glad the year is over. I've had this for year after year after year, where I'm just kind of glad the year is over. I have like plans for the new year. I try to get myself in order, trying to like start over on a bunch of new things and all kinds of stuff. And although I have to say it usually kind of ends up just like this. Just the year just ends up with me once again talking about the new year coming. There's always hope. There's always hope. We can't let go of that. So once again, I am looking forward to the new year. It's almost like at this point, I'm just ready for this week to be over. So I'm kind of hoping it goes fast. But in any case, like I said, it is the end of the year. And that means that there are plenty of videos with the best and the worst of beauty up. The best of makeup of 2021. We've seen a bunch of eyeshadow palette rankings from all of our favorite influencers. Some of them did a few, like some of them do a few throughout the year, so they had like 30, but I've been watching someone who have been ranking hundreds of palettes. I love it. I absolutely love it. I like to see what they say and what I say, because I'm obviously not an influencer. I usually say by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe if you have a really good imagination, I am an influencer. But no, I'm just like your regular person who buys a lot of makeup, and it's kind of fun for me to watch the influencers and see, like, because I'm starting to learn more about makeup. These past couple of years, I've definitely learned more about makeup, and it's fun for me to see what they pick versus what I pick, what they think versus what I think. Sometimes we land on the same palettes. This year, I have to say, one of my favorite palettes wasn't even mentioned, and I watched like 3 people ranking like hundreds of palettes. My palette wasn't even on there. So I don't know. Today I'm going to talk about eyeshadow palettes. I'm going to talk about what I think is the best and what I think is the worst. Like I always say, we all have our own opinions, because one of my favorites, people didn't even rank. Influencers didn't even rank, and they've tried hundreds of palettes. And I'm sure this one came out this year. I'm like, sure. Am I sure? I'm sure. So this is not a, by the way, if you saw my Huda video, yes, Angelique Nikas did not pick my favorite palette, but what was really interesting is she did pick another BH Cosmetics palette. She picked the Paris one, which I've never tried, but I did order because she put it as #1. I have to try it. She put a BH Cosmetics palette as #1. I have to try it. Most people put Natasha Denona was very high up there with the retro and the face palette, neither one of which I tried. So I don't know. Today I'm going to be doing a best and some of the worst. It's not a ranking. I think next year, if I still have this channel, and I do plan on having this channel next year, I will do a ranking. It's kind of hard to do a ranking, right? Because you kind of have to keep track of your palettes throughout the year. Sometimes I don't know what palette came out what year. Like, I think all the palettes that I have to show you came out this year, but I cannot swear by it. And yeah, so like, I think you kind of have to like, you have to keep track. You have to keep better track. No, I didn't even have a YouTube channel till the summer, so that wasn't going to happen. But I think next year, if I'm still with this channel, if I still have this channel, and I hope to still have this channel, then I think I definitely will do that. And speaking about having this channel, guys, if you are liking my videos, if you've been watching my videos, I hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel. I'm at 43 subscribers. Nothing would make me happier than to get to 50 by New Year's, and I've been having a rough couple of days. So if you want to help me out, I would love it so much. It would really help me start my year on a positive point, and I feel like I could use it. So with that said, like I said, I'm going to be talking about the best and some of the worst of eyeshadow palettes 2021. I'm going to start with the worst, and although it's not a ranking, it kind of is, because I'm going to start with what I thought was the absolute worst and work my way up to what was almost good. And then we're going to go to the best, and again, the bottom of the list up to the top. If I did make a video on these palettes, I will link it down below. I don't have videos on all of them, I know that, especially since I've only had this channel since the summer, but I do think I have palettes. I have videos on most of them. So with that, guys, let's get to it. Let's start with the worst. The worst eyeshadow palettes of 2012, in my opinion. This is starting off really good. The worst eyeshadow palettes of 2012. The worst eyeshadow palettes of 2021. It is 2021, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, so here we go. Guys, if you watch my videos, then you probably already know what I am about to say. No, I do have to say one thing. No, I have a lot of palettes that I did not see on other rankings. I feel like a lot of people kind of rank the same palettes, and I don't have them. So maybe because I don't have a lot of, like, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. All I'm saying is that I do have some palettes that I didn't see anywhere else. With that said, the absolute worst palette that I tried this year, no even contest, was the Batman palette by Makeup Revolution. Now, I will say that the packaging is very, very, very nice, and the color story I thought was really, really, really pretty, but nothing, and it even swatched quite well, but nothing could make up for the atrocious, powdery, non-pigmented formula that was this palette. I cannot even, it was so bad. This one I definitely have a video. I tried this one, and the next one I'm gonna talk about in the same video. I will list it down below. I'll link it down below. This was so awful. I just don't think I like Makeup Revolution palettes. While we're on the subject of Makeup Revolution, let's talk about the next one that's on this list. This is the Revolution Corpse Bride palette. So the packaging is cute, but I have to tell you, it's kind of cheap feeling. And it's like all packaging. Look how small these pan sizes are. And the color story, okay, I never saw the Corpse Bride. I'm sorry if I blinded you with that. I never saw the Corpse Bride, but I am sure that this color story is all over the place. I have a feeling it's like blue and purple, because a lot of the other palettes that came out with this collection I saw also had blue and purple. And this is kind of overwhelmingly blue and purple, but you also have like red. And I don't know. I just kind of felt like this color story was all over the place. And the mattes are terrible. They don't perform at all. The shimmers are okay. They're not bad. It's nothing as bad as this. The shimmers are okay, but they're not that good. And what I don't understand is how Makeup Revolution, the price point is decent for Makeup Revolution, but so is the price point for Juvia's Place and Colourpop and BH Cosmetics. And the formula is amazing. Like, their formulas can really compete with the more expensive makeup. So I just don't understand how Makeup Revolution is competing with those brands. I really don't. I am not a fan of Makeup Revolution eyeshadow. I do have tried some stuff by Makeup Revolution that I do like, but I don't like the eyeshadow. I think these were definitely the worst palettes that I tried this year. What else was bad? What else? Let me see. Oh, now this is a little heartbreaking. I will tell you, I have two palettes from two of my favorite brands. Actually, my two favorite brands. I have three favorite brands, and one of them is not on here at all. But my two favorite brands, they both have palettes in the worst of. So that is very disappointing, especially since I know that they can do better. So this is the next on the worst list, and this is Juvia's Place. Can you believe it? I Live, I Love, Ice. Now, Juvia's Place came out with two holiday palettes this year. They came out with I Live, I Love, and they came out with this one, I Live, I Love, Ice. So the I Live, I Love, I saw a couple of reviews on that, but that one has this one is like blue. It kind of looks like a frozen kind of thing. I guess that's why they call it ice. The other one had a pop of red, and people seem to like it. I didn't see anything on this one, but I will tell you that I was going to do a video right before Christmas. I'm sorry, I'm on the slanted chair. I was going to do a video right before Christmas. I thought it was going to be a really easy one to shoot, and I never tried this palette before, and I was even saying in the video, I always try palettes before I use them because of my allergy, but I'm just going for it this time, and I always know that the formula in Juvia's Place is so good, so I didn't think it would be an issue. I could not get this palette to work for me. I ended up scrapping the video. Can I just show you this shade right here? Okay, swatched out. And they're always known for their shimmers. This shimmer I thought was going to be amazing, and yeah, it's it's barely there. So I was just so I was disappointed. I was disappointed in this one. Juvia's Place can do so much better. So it was even more disappointing than if it was a brand I didn't like. And then the next one I really didn't like. Going up. How many palettes in total? In total, on the naughty list, on the worst list, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that was 3. We ranked 3 palettes. So 8, 7, 6. So this is number 5. And when I did this one, and like I said, on this list, we're going up. Going up gets better. When I ranked this palette, I think I said that I'd rather deal with Freddy Krueger than I would with this palette. And yes, that is a true statement. How bad could he be? This palette is just, this is the Kylie A Nightmare on Elm Street palette. And I'm sorry, I didn't like this. The packaging was so nice. Packaging is really, really lovely. They could have really ran with this one. Nobody else did anything like this around Halloween. But look at this. Like, why is this palette so neutral? And I love the neutral palette. I love a good neutral palette. But I have to say, you're buying a palette like with a Freddy Krueger theme, you probably don't want a neutral palette. And I understand that like brands put in neutral so that you can use it as an everyday palette if you want to. But seriously, you're probably not going to use your Freddy Krueger palette as an everyday palette. You're probably not going to do that. So, I mean, look at this. Like, it's almost all neutral. And the formula isn't good either. This pressed glitter, Springfield High, it has to be the worst pressed glitter I have ever used in my life. Some of the shades were okay. Some of the shades were not terrible. Some of them were okay. But a lot of them I didn't like. And this palette, you know, I was really, really excited about this palette and it just fell short. It just fell short. Okay, next up. Oh, next up we have the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. No. Bomb Posse. I call it Gloss Bomb because it's like modeled after the lip glosses, the Fenty glosses. Why can't I open? Oh, okay. Yeah, so you have like Fenty Glow, Hot Chocolate, and Fussy. And those are like 3 of the lip glosses. And then these are supposed to be like quads, like Hot Chocolate, Fenty Glow, and Fussy. I kind of like that. I absolutely love the color story of this. I love the color story. I think it's beautiful. The packaging is not bad. I mean, I don't love it. It's you're able to attach other palettes. It's like that weird packaging. All of Fenty's palettes have this kind of packaging. But the formula is not very good. I actually tried this in a video, the scariest makeup, where I took like the lowest rated on Sephora and the lowest rated on Ulta, and I just chose some stuff and I tried everything. And honestly, yeah, there is a reason it was the lowest rated. At the time, this was one of the lowest rated palettes on Sephora, if not the lowest rated. I don't know what it is now. It's also pricey and at $49. There's no pigment. That's the problem. I don't personally hate this palette. I don't hate this palette because I am someone who doesn't like a lot of pigment. I have a horrible allergic reaction to nickel. And by the way, I'm not factoring that in any of my palettes, okay? Because that is not fair. Most people don't have an allergic reaction to nickel, and there's iron oxides in pretty much every single eyeshadow palette in the world. It's just a matter of the formula, how they're formulated. So usually when there's less pigment, though, there is less iron oxides. I have found that to be true. So maybe that's why I can use this palette. But usually not having pigment is not a selling point, and therefore I have to put this in one of the worst palettes I tried, if not the worst palette. No, it's not the worst palette. It was nowhere near that Batman one. You can get a couple of, you can get nice looks out of it if you really pack it on, but you gotta really pack it on. And for $49, I don't think you should have to do that. Okay, so now we're getting to the not too bad. Okay, this one, Colourpop on a Whimsy. Oh my goodness. I did a review of this palette. Here's the problem with this palette. It screams summer to me, first of all, okay? Tell me that this is not a summer color story, and also summer packaging, like with the carousel horses. Now, what's funny is I saw hardly anything about this palette. This palette came out with another one called Ticket to Dreamland. Colourpop released these 2 palettes. They were Ulta exclusives. I believe now you can get them on the Colourpop website. The other one was more of a pinkish palette. And I finally did see some people start talking about that one, and they did seem to like it. I still haven't seen anybody talk about this one. I did not like this palette. My personal preference, look, I like some nice packaging. The packaging is beautiful, but they could have made it more holiday-ish as a holiday release. They already had the carousel horses. But when you open it up, the color story and also even like the shade names, they're named after like a carnival. So they should have released it during the summer, but I could get, you know, over all that. That's not a big deal, except the shades are not the same Colourpop formula that we know and love. It's like the Ice Juvia's Place palette. These, I'm sorry, I gotta get a new chair. These 4 mattes are very good. These 4 mattes are very good. These 2 rows are not good at all. The pigment in here is absolutely, it's just not Colourpop standard, okay? It's not like this shade that looks so pretty. It's like one of those barely there shades, and they're kind of all like that in these 2 rows. It's only the last row, which is up here, that performs really well. So you don't want a shade, you don't want, what's it called? 12 shades, and you got 4 that perform really well, okay? You don't want that, and so I felt that this palette is on the worst list, okay? It's getting closer to the top. Okay, now the next one, the Bambi palette by Colourpop. The reason this one is here is the sheer size of it. Do you see how big this is? Okay, if you are selling a palette with Bambi on the packaging, chances are people are buying it for the packaging. Look at this color story. Nobody's buying this for the color story, okay? Let's get real. Let's just get real, Colourpop. Nobody bought this for the color story. People bought this for the packaging because they wanted to display it. When it got here, you can imagine my surprise. Look at the size of this thing. It's like the size of a small chocolate bar. It's just, you can see where my brain is. That's another thing I have to focus on in the new year. It's just like the shadows are fine. They're fine. They're okay. They're nice quality. They're Colourpop quality. The color story is a cute little neutral color story. But you want to make this palette bigger so that I can display it. So I can display Bambi because I love Bambi. I was super disappointed in this palette for that reason. But I don't think I was disappointed in any palette more than the last one on the list. And yes, it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst palette. In fact, it's almost made it to the other list because we're about to start the best of eyeshadow palettes 2021. But I was so disappointed in this palette. And what's funny is I did see this palette finish near the top for some people's rankings. I saw it finish near the top, but not mine. And this is my favorite brand. One of, if not my favorite brand. And I'm talking about the Cinderella palette by Sigma. A lot of influencers loved this one, but I have to go with Teresa is Dead. I have to agree with her. I didn't like it. I tried, here's the thing. And this palette, I have to tell you, I actually set my alarm. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you this, but I'll tell you, what the hell, I don't care, I have nothing to lose. I set my alarm when this palette launched so that I could get it. I was convinced it would sell out. It does have a gorgeous Sigma brush. Nothing wrong with that. And I will tell you, it is probably one of the most aesthetically pleasing palettes I have ever seen. However, the color story is all over the place. It's all over the place. And a lot of people were saying that they were so glad Sigma did do a pastel palette for Cinderella because it's like been done, and they were really happy to see like these darker mattes, and that's fine. But I would still have liked to see a color story, like maybe a pink and purple color story or something. Like, we don't need all of these neutrals. I'll point with the brush. Angelique Nikas, I just watched her ranking, so that's why I keep bringing her up. But she said this, and she made a really good point. You don't have to put a neutral in every single palette. You don't absolutely have to do that, and she's right. And I like neutrals, but I just don't feel like there's a place for all these neutrals. Okay, there's just not. Besides, like they should have went also this green. Like, what is this green? Like, what am I gonna pair that with? The shimmers are really pretty. I thought the shimmers were really nice. They were really pretty. But like, I don't know. Like, I didn't feel that they worked. These shadows just worked well together. And I also didn't feel like this quality was the usual Sigma quality. So I was ultra disappointed in this palette, and I don't even like know what to do with it. I think I'll just give it to someone. It's not even something that, I mean, another thing that's wrong with these palettes, and it's really, really nice when you get them, they have like those indentations. I was gonna say insignias, but I'm not sure if that's the right word. I feel like I just made that word up. Like, they had the prints and they had the shoe, and they're totally gone, and I barely use this palette. So now it just looks like, you know, like a really used palette, and it's not, so I think I'll just give it to someone. Anyway, that's my worst. That's my worst. Let's get into the best. I do have more on the best list. Okay guys, the best of eyeshadow palettes 2021. 2021, according to me, Colourpop, yes, you're making a comeback. In fact, all of my brands make a comeback on this list, and most of them make big comebacks, so that's great. I think I'm the only person in the world on planet Earth that purchased this palette. If you have this palette, let me know. I would like to be your friend. This is off Melrose by Colourpop. I didn't hear one thing about this palette. I don't think ever. Okay, but I think it's still available. It just kind of came and nobody talked about it, and it's still there. But I love this palette. I use this palette so much over the summer. It's your typical Colourpop palette. You have 12 shades, you have 2 matte glitters, you have a pressed glitter, but you also have a lot of beautiful cool tone shades. Like, I love a good cool tone shade. I love these neutrals. I love a mauve. I love this color right here, Fairfax. This color is so pretty. It's just like this gorgeous shimmer. You can't see it. But it's just like really, really nice. And yeah, I loved this palette. Nobody spoke about this palette. I mean, I wouldn't say it's #1 or anything, but I think it deserved to be mentioned. So I'm mentioning it. Another really strong palette I felt like Colourpop did this year. Really strong. Maybe my oh no. It's not my favorite Colourpop palette this year, but it was a very, very close. Was a Limoncello palette. I thought this was a beautiful palette. I didn't love it on me. I don't look so good in yellow shadow sometimes, but I thought the actual palette was stunning. I thought the packaging was stunning, and I thought the color story, like these yellows, these neutrals, and then this pop of blue. Normally when you see a pop of blue, it's just kind of there, and you're like, okay, whatever, but this one just made sense, and this blue really like goes well with these yellows. It screams summer. It just like, this is a palette that you want to pull out in the summer or in the spring. It's just beautiful. It really, really is. And I thought they did such a good job on this one. So yes, I think this was one of the best palettes of 2021. Okay. Now we're going to get into my other favorite brand making a comeback. This is the Blush Rose by Juvia's Place. I was so happy that Angelique Kinikas put this on very, very, very close to her top, because I also felt the same. This is a palette that grew on me, and I'm going to agree with her and say that this palette didn't get a lot of love when it came out. It was released, this one, and then there was a bronze one. I don't have the bronze one, but I thought this one was so beautiful. When I first got it, I was like, what? Why is there an orange here? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? But it kind of grows on you, and it makes sense. Like, once you start doing looks with it, the whole thing just makes sense. And I have to tell you, the formula, this is Juvia's Place formula at its best. And every time I wear this palette, I get compliments. Every time I wear it, I get compliments. This is that orange shade. It's so pretty. Like, it's just really beautiful. And you have like this really nice shimmer here too. It just works well. And it's just like a pink palette with like an orange shimmer, I think is cool. Now I like it. When I first got it, I wasn't sure what to do with it, but now I really think it's stunning. So good for you, Juvia's Place. Okay. Now the next one I'm going to talk about, I tried this one when I was trying all the Halloween palettes. This is the Alien Cosmetics Not Normal. This was the first palette I ever tried from Alien Cosmetics, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. I think my only complaint was 2 of the shimmers weren't as shimmery as I would like them to be, but I mean, that's a very, very small complaint. Other than that, yeah, I thought this palette was really, really, really lovely. It was my first experience with Alien Cosmetics. I do not think will be my last. I would be very, very open to trying something else from them. Packaging, really, really, really cute. I just love this palette. I thought it was really, really nice. Okay. Another brand I want to talk about. Another brand, oh, yeah, let's talk about this now. Another brand I want to talk about was Makeup Maniacs. This, I didn't hear anybody rank this palette, and I don't think that's fair. I tried a few things from Makeup Maniacs this year. I am like, how many palettes do I have? See, this is why I can't do a ranking. I don't even know. Where are we? I had 1, 2, 4 I ranked already. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? No. 12. Oh, Oh my god, I have 13. Oh, I don't really have 13, but I'm grouping some together. Okay, so 13, 14, 12. Oh, so this is number 10. Putting this at number 10. The palettes I tried this year, this is the 10th best. So Makeup Maniacs, I was very, very impressed with this brand. I tried a few things, and I think if you have a love for like those duochrome, really, really shimmery shades, you would like this brand. You should try it. They sell a lot of those kind of things, and I think their palettes are really, really pretty. One thing I have to tell you sold me on this was these highlighters. I can't use, this one, Pie Crust, is a little dark for me, but Sugar is such a gorgeous highlighter. I mean, come on, you could see that from the space station. It was beautiful. And the shadows, like, at first I was like, eh, but as I was trying them, I really fell in love with this palette. I'll link the video down below. You can see what I mean. My only complaint, there's a little bit too much purple. Like, we have 2 purple mattes and 2 purple shimmers, and the purple mattes are very, very similar, especially when they're swatched out. That was my one complaint. Other than that, and the packaging, I mean, it's so Halloween-y. I thought this palette was really, really, really nice. Okay. In at number 9. Is it number 9? Guys, I don't know how to count. I'm just going to show you the rest of the palettes that I really, really liked. The next palette on the list is the Venom Palette. I spoke about this palette so much this year. I put it in a bunch of my top videos, of my videos, and I think I even did a blog about it. This is kind of what I wanted this to be. This is what I wanted this to be. Like these kind of freaking shimmers that are off the charts, okay? This palette, if you really wanted to do like a Frozen look or something along those lines, I mean, this was the palette to pick up. These shimmers were like amazing. I thought this palette was stunning. So, so pretty. Another one I didn't hear anybody talk about. Really nice. But that's not the one I'm really upset that nobody talked about. Okay, next up, I just did this review on this one. This is the Glamlight palette. This is the Chocolate Martini. I really, really liked this palette. This is from the Happy Hour collection. This is the only one I have. There were 3 others. There was like a pink and red, there was a purple, and there was a green. And this, of course, is the neutral. I love my neutrals. I thought this was such a beautiful neutral palette, though. Not only do you have your neutrals, but you do have like these gold. Well, I guess a gold is a neutral, but you have your browns, you have your gold, and you have this beautiful, beautiful color, Happy Hour, this like purple shade. It's so stunning, stunning. This palette was beautiful. I absolutely loved it. I've been happy with the Glamlight palettes that I have. I have this and I have the Ice Cream Dream, but I think I do like this better than the Ice Cream Dream. And the packaging that this came in is off the charts. That bottle, I am keeping it as a decoration. I usually don't do that. That packaging was amazing. It looked like a PR package. Like you felt like you were getting PR. Thank you, Glamlight, for that. I thought that they did such a good job with that palette. Okay, next we're going to talk about Colourpop, and I am not the only one that did this. I am not the only one that did this, that just threw in a bunch of quads and said, yes, this is good. So back in the summer, I spoke to you guys about this one. This is the Cream Soda. Okay, I thought this palette, I don't think I had a YouTube channel, but I blogged about it. And I think I have spoken about it at least once on this channel. But I mean, this palette was off the charts amazing. I went for a trip to Atlantic City and I just wanted to throw some makeup in a bag. It wasn't the recent one where I did the Kaja video. It was a trip before that. And I just wanted to throw like some makeup in a bag, and I threw this quad in without even trying it. And I was so pleased. This is not the usual Colourpop formula. The usual Colourpop formula is very, very good. This is something else. This is like better than their normal formula. It's like crazy good. And even the packaging is like so cute. Like these little quads, they're like all you need. So I have Cream Soda, and then I did purchase some more. I purchased Sagittarius because I am a December baby. So I did get around, I think I spoke about it in my Colourpop ranking. That's where I spoke about it. So I did get around to trying it. Also really, really like it. I think I liked the Cream Soda better than this, but they were from 2 different collections, so that makes sense. And then I tried extra toppings from the ice cream collection. Also thought that was really stunning. So I think if you want to just, you know, you don't want to spend a lot of money, you want something, this is like all you need it for whatever. Maybe you're traveling, maybe you're not traveling, maybe you just need a quad. Like, not everybody loves having a ton of eyeshadows or having big palettes. I think like these Colourpop little quads are so beautiful and they're such a lovely formula. I would definitely recommend picking these up. Definitely. Okay. Next, I know I hate when people do this, but I am putting stuff together. I'm putting collections together. Okay. Here's the next thing I think was great for 2012 eyeshadows. This is the Sigma 9-pan palettes. Guys, if you haven't tried these, I would highly recommend them. I have 3. I have the Ivy, which is the green. Packaging is okay. It's very straightforward. These palettes are $30, so they're cheaper than their like longer palettes. But I have the green, which is the Ivy. It's stunning. Stunning. I have the Rosy palette. This is the only reason I didn't purchase when Samantha March collabed with Sigma and did her bundle. I love Samantha March. She's one of my favorite YouTubers. But I didn't buy it because I already had it. And it was just like this and a brush. And this, I think, is her favorite of the 9 pans. But she was also really talking these up on her ranking. And I have to agree. I think they're stunning. They're so pretty. They're all you need. And Ritzy, the neutral one. And then there's like 2 others or 3 others. But these are really, really great. If you've never tried Sigma, their formula is so good. With the exception of the Cinderella palette, they have an absolutely beautiful formula. Beautiful. We're about to see them again. But before we do, yeah, we're going to revisit Makeup Maniacs one more time. I purchased this Sweater Weather. They have other quads like this. They don't have this one anymore. This was like one of their fall ones, but I went on their website. They have like some holiday ones, and they're just known for these stunning shimmers. And like I said, if you've never tried this brand, I mean, let me just pick one. They are so incredibly beautiful. Like, do you see? This is a swatch over a swatch. But I mean, now that is like some noticeable shimmer. This is 4 shimmers, but this palette I don't think was that expensive. My memory serves me right. But these shimmers could stand alone. Like, you could do a one and done with these shimmers. You don't have to have a matte. I thought these were stunning, and nobody talks about this company. And I don't know why. I mean, at least the YouTubers I watch don't really talk about this company. I think they have a beautiful, beautiful formula. If you are interested in kind of shimmery stuff, I would definitely check out Makeup Maniacs. I think they're gorgeous. All right, guys, we have 4 palettes. We have 4 palettes. These are the 4 palettes that I think are the best of 2021. Do you know I was about to say 2012 again? Okay, so in at number 4 is Colourpop. Once again, this is the Sprinkle a Little Magic. I didn't appreciate this palette as much when I used it as I do now, although I did give it a good review, and I think I put it like number 10 on, around number 10 on my whole Colourpop list. And then, I mean, packaging is beautiful off the charts. You got your Tinkerbell, and then the color story is also really, really nice. And this was a very, very, very strong Colourpop formula. If you're not so into greens, it may not be the palette for you. It's not like the Matte Mandalorian where it's like that really neutral green, like wear all the time or everyday green. This one is more green than that, but it's beautiful, beautiful palette. And I think definitely the best Colourpop did this year. I think this is the best palette Colourpop dropped this year. That's my opinion. I have 3 palettes left, and one of them broke my heart. My heart's been broken a few times in the past couple of days. That's a whole other story. This one, yeah, this palette, I'm going to put it at number 3. I was going to put it at number 1 or number 2. This is the Rose Quartz by Huda, okay? I did a video not too long ago where I tried this palette and I was in love with it, and I was saying I was so happy it didn't give me a reaction. And do you know what happened that very night? I did update the description box in case you're interested. Yes, it gave me a reaction, and I am officially done with Huda palettes. Not because I don't like them. I absolutely think they're stunning, but I used the Mercury Retrograde. I thought that was a stunning beautiful palette and the same thing happened. And I should have known better because this looks exactly the same as I'm not Color Story, but the packaging, like the layout, everything is kind of the same as the Mercury Retrograde as this palette. It's the same formula. It took a longer time for whatever reason. Maybe it was the shades I was using or how I was using them. But that night, I absolutely woke up with, the next day after I did that video, I woke up with very swollen eyes and they were very, very painful. And I know it was this palette because that's all I had been using. That's kind of how I test palettes. I only use them. So I know it was this palette. So this palette did break me. It broke me. I think this palette is beautiful though. And maybe I shouldn't have bumped it down. That wasn't as fair as me. But these other two palettes that I have, I think are equally stunning. So yeah, this I would say I can't use it. And I really, really, really love it. I wish I could use it, but I can't. I think it's stunning. I think these are some of the most beautiful shimmers I have seen in a while. The mattes are perfect. The shimmers are perfect. The packaging is perfect. Everything's perfect except the fact that I cannot wear it. But I have to give credit where credit is due, and I think it is definitely one of the best palettes of 2021. In at number 2, guys, this is the palette I hadn't seen once. I didn't see this thing on anybody's ranking. I mean, I didn't watch everybody's. I'm sure somebody had it, but the couple that I did watch, I didn't see it. This is the Abh Noir Vena. I loved this palette. I loved it. I loved everything about it. It came out over the summer. It has neutrals. It has purples. You could wear it as a neutral palette. You have like all these neutrals. It does have some pressed glitters. It does, but I'm willing to forgive it because it's so beautiful. You have neutrals, you have these pinks, you have these purples, you have like this kind of coral thing going on over here. You could just like do so many things with this palette. I'm not a big fan of the other ABH formula, like the original ABH formula, but this Noir Vena palette, I was so pleased with it. I did a video called The Tale of Two Palettes. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do another one with Rose Quartz and Smoke and Roses by Colourpop, but I have to try Smoke and Roses first. But I am going to do a second one. But yeah, I did this one and I compared it to the original Noir Vena, and I love this one. I don't like the formula in the original ABH palettes, but a lot of people feel opposite. They feel like they like that one better. Everybody's different. But I just thought this palette was stunning. I thought it was so pretty. And I even said, I think I said over this summer that there was no doubt in my mind that this would be 1 or 2 of the top palettes of the year. Well, there was no doubt in my mind. I'm putting it at 2. But I guess a lot of people didn't feel that way. But I really thought this palette was beautiful. I thought it was easily one of the best of the year. And number 1, a lot of people will just say, well, I don't think people will necessarily disagree with me. I saw this palette show up on most rankings. And everybody did have good things to say about it. They said it was a beautiful formula. But nobody put it at number 1. I think Samantha March put it the highest of what I saw. And I think she put it at 5 or 6. But I'm putting it at number 1 because it's my favorite brand. And it was my favorite palette this year. And that's the Sigma Ambiance. The Sigma Ambiance was my favorite palette this year. Packaging, gorgeous, off the charts. And the shades, oh, brush, you get that beautiful double-ended Sigma brush. And the shades are just so lovely. Now it is, of course, very, very neutral. It is a Sigma's neutral palette. But in the summer, I mean, you could use it anytime, but it just screams your name in the summer. It calls for you to use it every single day for those beautiful bronze looks. The formula is so good. I mean, Sigma has a very strong formula, but this formula, I think, is maybe the best they've ever done. And I reached for this palette in the summer, this and the Colourpop one. I was using this all the time, and the ABH one. I just think this is so stunning. It was my favorite palette of 2021. There you have it. So those are my picks, guys. Those are what I think were the best and some of the worst of eyeshadow palettes 2021. I am going to be following this up with a makeup edition where I won't talk about palettes. I'll just talk about what I thought was the best and the worst makeup of 2021. The best and some of the worst. I always have more best than worst. It's just always a couple of things here and there I do feel the need to point out don't work, like that Batman palette. I am still not over it. Like I said, guys, I'll link any video that I did on these palettes. I'll link it down below in case you're interested. And if you want to leave me a comment on your favorite palettes of 2021, or your least favorite, that might even be more fun. If you want to share with me, I would love that so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel because we talk about all in the attic. I want to thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, remember to take good care of yourself, guys. I'm following that advice. Take good care of yourself so you can take care of someone else, and I will see you real soon. Bye-bye.